Every Scrum meeting you have learned so far is about the work. Sprint planning decides what to do. Daily stand-up or daily Scrum tracks progress. The sprint review shows what got done. Next meeting, Sprint Retrospective, is different. It's not about the work, it's about how the team works together. And it is the meeting that most teams skip first and need most. It's very strange. So here is what happens when team skips it. Sprint 1, the designer does not get the brief until day 3 because nobody clarified the handoff. It cost the team 2 days. Nobody talks about it. Sprint 2, same handoff problem, same delay. Now someone is frustrated but stays quiet. Sprint 3, the frustration turns into blame. 2 people are pointing fingers. The manager steps in and says, "Scrum does not work for our team. We need to switch back." It was never a Scrum problem, it was a feedback problem. The retrospective exists to catch it at Sprint 1. Without it, sprint friction compounds into real conflict. Okay? So here is how the sprint retrospective works. The team meets at the end of every sprint. After sprint review meeting, they answer 3 questions. What went well? What didn't go well? What will we change next sprint? 3 questions. But what makes it work is not the format. It is whether the team answers honestly. So the first question matters more than people think. Teams that only talk about problems burned out. Naming what worked reinforces that behavior you want to keep. It also creates psychological safety because the conversation starts with something positive before moving into what needs to change. Second question is where the real value lives. But it only works if the team focuses on the process, not the person. This is the most important rule of retrospective. Talk about what happened, not who caused it. The handoff between copy and design took 4 days. Is a process feedback. Sarah was too slow getting us the assets. It's a personal blame. Same issue. Completely different outcomes. The first one gets fixed, the second one starts a conflict. And you want to avoid that. If you remember one thing from this lecture, remember this. In a sprint retrospective, the enemy is the broken process, never the person sitting across from you. And the third question turns the conversation into action. Not 5 actions, 1, maybe 2. The team picks the single most impactful thing they will do differently next sprint. Usually 1 improvement per sprint sounds small. But imagine your team making 1 deliberate improvement every 2 weeks for a full year. That is 26 changes your team choose on purpose. And most teams never improve that deliberately. That is the difference between team that repeats and team that evolves. So let me show you what this looks like in your team. In marketing, the team asks, what went well? We hit the campaign deadline with 2 days to spare because we front-loaded the design work. What didn't go so well? Stakeholder feedback came back 3 times on the same deliverable because we did not clarify expectations up front. And what we will change next sprint? Next sprint will confirm approval criteria before starting any deliverable. In HR, the team asks, what went well? We screened all candidates within first 5 days. What did not go so well? 2 interview panels were scheduled without confirming the hiring manager's availability. Both had to be rescheduled. And what we will change? The recruiter confirms panel availability before sending calendar invites. In operations, the team asks, what went well? The new vendor onboarding checklist worked on the first try. What didn't go so well? The compliance review took 6 days because we submitted it to the wrong queue. And what we will change next sprint? We add the correct submission link to the checklist template. As you can see, no matter which department uses this, the structure is the same. 3 honest questions, 1 concrete improvement. But new team members usually stay silent. They think retrospectives are for senior people or the Scrum Master to run. They sit quietly and nod. Please don't do that. You are closest to your own work. If something slows you down, the team needs to hear it. You do not need to have the solution, you just need to name the friction. Here is one sentence you can use. One thing that slows me down this sprint was waiting on the approvals. Can we talk about how to make that faster? This is how you are contributing to the team getting better. Okay? Here is one small assignment for you. Think about past week. Name one thing that went well on your team and write it down. Then name one thing that slowed the team down and write it down. Practice saying both out loud. This is the retrospective mindset. And the more comfortable you get with it now, the more valuable you will be when the real meeting happens. And also I'll prepare our Sprint Retrospective Starter Kit. It has 3 questions and simple format for running your first retrospective and prompt variations if your team wants to keep it fresh sprint after sprint. It's in the resource section below this video. And bring it to your next retrospective. If your team doesn't have one scheduled, suggest it. That one suggestion might be the most valuable contribution you make this month. Now you know every Scrum meeting. Sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective, but there is one more event we have not covered yet, and it's the one that holds everything together. It's the sprint itself. What is it, how long it lasts, and why that time box changes everything? That is next.